Osman, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate your participation. So if we could start, if you could just tell a little bit about yourself and how you got into agriculture.
Good. I'm Osman Kulendi from Ghana, precisely from northwestern part of Ghana. I am married to one woman and 5 kids. Yes, I graduated from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology about 21 years ago, and I have 2 segments in my professional life. I worked in the water and sanitation sector as an engineer for 9 years, and the remaining 12 years to grow a business, which is called Pumptech Limited.
That's fantastic. So what sparked the kind of first initial idea for your business?
Good. My business started actually not in the normal way of somebody sitting and thinking about how to create a business, but in just my philanthropic approach to solve a problem for my community. This is how it started. When I worked for the 9 years as a water and sanitation engineer in an NGO, I was supervising installations and construction of water facilities. And whilst I did this, anytime a system breaks down, they had to call me as the supervisor. Please, our system is broken. Please help us to fix it. Whenever they contacted me, unfortunately, these were in the northern part of Ghana, these installations, which is about 16 hours from the capital city. And this is in the capital city, most of the professionals, in fact, all the professionals and materials were coming from to the north. So anytime they called me, it took a minimum. The shortest time I was able to bring an expert to the field to fix the problem was like 4 or 5 days. And it lasted 2 weeks to fix systems. And being a rural boy myself, I knew what it meant when a system broke down and I had to walk over a kilometer early in the morning to fetch water from dugouts to the home to heat it and then bath and go to school. So I knew the value of maintaining these facilities. So I took it upon myself after incessant calls to get expertise to fix these systems, to learn from these artisans who come to fix these facilities. Then, as the pressure continued, I decided to step in myself, use my weekend to attempt to fix one of the problems. And it worked. When I managed to fix it, I repeatedly used my weekends to try to fix these facilities myself. Whenever I went to fix it, they will give me either a guinea fowl or a goat as a reward for the service. So the pressure continued until I realized, with family complaints of using 7 days to work, I go to work in my normal days, weekend spend it to fix community water supply schemes. I saw the need to start employing plumbers, just one plumber and one electrician to help me fix these problems. Of course, once I employed them, I asked them to help, I had to pay them. It's no longer about philanthropy, because I can't share a guinea fowl with them as a reward. I started charging for the service. And this immediately plunged me into thinking about fixing a business, creating a business to fix this problem. This is actually, in short, how Pumptech started. Now, fast forward, when Pumptech started, I had structured from fixing a problem to stocking parts to fix the problem, to engaging and training more people to join the company, and also now to be able to build a whole water infrastructure, because there was still the need to keep building water infrastructure, so I built that capacity as well. Moving on, then on my way traveling one day, over a bridge, I had a breakdown with my vehicle, and by a bridge over a river, I was fixing the vehicle. An old man supported me with water and other stuff. Then in our conversation, he told me what he was doing, which is irrigating a small piece of land by the river at the bridge. So I asked him, why is your plot too small like that? He says, look at me. This is my watering can I use to go down there and bring water to this land. So how can I increase it? It's not possible. And for the suffering I go through, I must get my kids to school, so I can't allow them to be bailing water from the river for me. Then, from my experience in mechanizing water facilities, I thought that no, I should be able to pull this water from this river for this old man to use. This is what interested me into venturing into irrigation. Otherwise, personally, I wasn't a fan of farming myself. Now I am by practice.
That's awesome. So can you talk about kind of the initial hurdles that you faced when you were establishing Pumptech and starting to scale it up, and how you overcame those obstacles?
Yeah. Actually, the very first problem I encountered was, okay, they asked you to do a project, you are living on salary, which is less than 10% of the inputs you needed to do the project. This was a very hard nut to crack. I went to my boss. Everybody I talked to, nobody could help. I had to go to a dealer of the materials who I had worked with as a supplier when I was working with the NGO. And then proposed to him I will split the profit. This is the deal. I'll split the profit with you equal if you invest, if you give me the products to go and serve the customer. And this was my very first customer. He had to agree with me with a compelling cost-sharing proposal I gave. And this enabled me to execute the project. And once I did it, this was what aided me to buy my very first pump to keep as a stock item, which I kept growing till today. And today, Pumptech is hosting or stocking hundreds of pumps.
Yeah,
in fact, thousands of pumps.
That's amazing. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you chose the specific location for Pumptech, at least early on, and how you defined your early service area?
As I mentioned, I am from the rural Ghana, northern part of Ghana, and the problems that were emanating from there really dictated the solution, and so the location as well. But as I began in the north, now I'm covering the entire country with all services. The business had to move myself from northern Ghana now to the capital city, as Pumptech established head office in Accra and established satellite offices across the country.
And would you say that, the Ghanaian culture, the place that you're working, the regions that you're in, how have they influenced your business, perhaps in unexpected ways? Like, have they determined your offerings and your operational model? Like, can you walk us through how specifically serving Ghana has shaped Pumptech as a business?
Yes, especially the rural folk that I worked with. In fact, one of the shift is just either pay as you go or the irrigation as a service. Almost 90% of my customers do not have the ability to pay for my pumps. And this was really one of the biggest hurdles I had to cross. I convinced my customers as farmers, they knew the value of taking the solar pump, but they simply cannot afford it. And I'm not a credit institution, Pumptech is not, so we couldn't also offer credit, looking at the prevailing microeconomics in the country. So I couldn't help out, but to look for a customized solution. And that led me to think about, okay, segment the market for the irrigation sector and approach them differently. And that's what brought me to the approach of looking for investors that pushed me to an NGO who could actually come in to reduce my risk with the guarantee. And that aided me to bring in more and more farmers as customers. It was really a big breakthrough. And one shocker in my business along the way in 2014 was When I saw that some of the customers in the northern Ghana, because of the economic situation, could not afford the top-notch brands I sell, I had to bring in a cheaper brand. I don't want to mention the brand. I brought a sample, 20 pieces, and this worked super well. All 20 excellent. I brought in 100 pieces, and not one of them worked well. So from 2014 till today, I still have a pack of motors of that brand stack. I had to just cannibalize them, take the pump ends and put different motors and use for customers. But I had to just abandon 100 motors. This was a very big blow to my business. And that, Karen, this informed how methodical I'm always when I'm adopting any new technology. Because we build a brand, we build a name with a high level of credibility, and we don't easily bring in new products without doing the required due diligence.
That's great. So sitting where you are now and looking back, how would you say Pumptech has evolved since its inception? And if you would mind sharing with us, what were some of the pivotal moments or turning points that drove that evolution?
Yes, since Pumptech was formed 2007 till today, we actually had no dip in our growth, even though we met challenges. This is because we use service. Our approach is very different from our competitors. We, from the beginning, as I told you, we started with service, and service remains our real entry point to the market. What we do is, we don't mind whether the product you are struggling with was installed or supplied by us. We open our lines to help and solve every technology problem related to water pumping. And by that, we're able to attract more customers. And this strategy is the last strategy I will abandon in my business, because that is really a differentiator of Pumptech in the Ghanaian market. Now, the breakthrough I had in getting my risk reduced by pulling in investors or NGOs to put in money as a guarantee really served me very well, because it really helped me to avoid high interest rate from loans and stuff. And I think this is a strong differentiator in our market for Pumptech.
That's fantastic. Any surprising successes or failures that you would mind sharing?
I already mentioned one of them, which is the 100 pumps I bought and zero functionalities from them. That was a big one. But the high point that we have scored is that now, with the approach we use as service as an entry point, it has made us to retain almost 100% of our customer base, and still we're getting a lot of new customers pouring in from this approach. And this really is a big breakthrough. The second one is that we, instead of selling pumps or installing and servicing pumps, we have expanded our business to cover all electromechanical components that relates to irrigation and water infrastructure. So we are aiming at becoming a one-stop shop. The moment you talked about water and its components, Pumptech becomes a house or a home you can access either service or product or parts. And I think this is a big drive for our business at the moment. This is the reason why I'm very excited about the linkages I'm building in this room, like my friend on Pivot, my friend on climate monitoring tools. This is the reason why I want to include that in my business. In one way or the other, each of these components of the business attract the customers and retains them.
That's fantastic. So final question, where do you see Pumptech in the next 5 to 10 years?
I believe in the next 5 or 10 years, when you talk about irrigation as a service, Pumptech name will pop up in West Africa. It will. It will, because we are taking it big and we want to really push through partnerships across West Africa, in fact, eventually Africa. If you talk about 10 years, we want to be known in Africa, not only West Africa. This is our dream, and we believe it will come true. Because irrigation as a service is not something any lazy entrepreneur will go into. It's very hard, very, very hard to manage, and so we will be a differentiator in the marketplace. Thank you.
Osman, this has been fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.